Hey, let me tell you something almost no one says out loud. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they spend their whole lives hiding behind silence. Silence out of fear of making mistakes. Silence out of fear of being judged. Silence out of fear of not being good enough. And meanwhile, average people, with less preparation, less vision, and less depth, move forward. Not because they're better, but because they're seen. That creates anger. It creates comparison. It creates that quiet question before you fall asleep. Why not me? Maybe you felt that mix of frustration and exhaustion, like the world isn't hearing you. But here's a freeing truth. The world responds to clarity, not intention. You can want it badly. You can know a lot. You can feel like you were born for something bigger. But if that doesn't come through when you open your mouth, no one can guess. And that's not unfair. It's human nature. People trust those who project confidence. They follow those who carry presence. And they respect those who speak with conviction. Now think with me. How many ideas have you swallowed? How many times have you stayed quiet in a meeting, even though you knew you had something better to say? How many times have you left a conversation thinking, I should have said that? That buildup is heavy. It starts creating an invisible prison. And the worst kind of prison is the one no one sees, but you feel every day. There comes a moment in everyone's life when it becomes clear. Either you learn to take your stand, or you'll spend the rest of your life as a spectator. And taking your stand starts with your voice. Not just your physical voice, but your emotional voice. The courage to express yourself with truth. When you speak with presence, something shifts in the room. People look up. They pay attention. They feel that something there matters. This isn't about being extroverted. Some quiet people can command an entire room without raising their tone. Because presence doesn't shout. Presence holds. If you feel this hitting you deep, subscribe to the channel now. This kind of content isn't common, and you deserve to keep having access to it. Now let me take you to an even deeper point. Communication isn't only what you say. It's the emotional state you carry while you say it. When you speak carrying fear, people feel it. When you speak carrying doubt, people notice. But when you speak carrying clarity, it spreads. And here's something powerful. People don't argue with someone who radiates calm. In chaos, a calm voice becomes authority. In conflict, presence becomes leadership. Maybe today you're living under pressure, demands, high expectations. And in those moments, most people lose control. Their voice rises, their pace speeds up, their clarity disappears. But the person who learns to breathe, pause, and choose their words becomes the center of the conversation. That changes everything. Now think about the impact of that in your personal life, in your relationships, in the difficult conversations you avoid, in the truths you swallow just to avoid conflict. How many relationships could be healthier if you could express yourself with firmness and respect? Communication doesn't only build a career, it builds bridges or walls. And here's an essential point. Those who don't learn to speak, learn to stay silent. And those who stay silent too long get sick on the inside. A repressed voice becomes anxiety. It becomes frustration. It becomes a feeling of invisibility. But when you start expressing yourself truthfully, something inside you starts to settle into place. You respect yourself more, and automatically, other people start to as well. It's a quiet effect, but it's real. Now let me ask you something important. When was the last time someone stopped to truly listen to you? Not to respond, but to listen. If that's rare in your life, it doesn't mean you have no value. It only means you still haven't learned to show that value clearly. And that can change. But it only changes with conscious practice, with intention, with decision. If you've made it this far in the video, that already says a lot about you. Not many people have the patience to look inward. Not many people are willing to face their unused potential. So share this video. Someone close to you needs to hear exactly this, even if they'd never admit it. And now, to close this part, hold on to this sentence. The world doesn't reward those who feel more. It rewards those who communicate what they feel better. Feeling is the beginning. Speaking with presence is the path. Acting with clarity is the destination. And from here on, every time you open your mouth, remember this. Your voice is not a detail in your life. It's a tool for transformation. And when you learn to use it, nothing stays the same. And you know what's even more subtle about hiding behind silence?
It almost always comes disguised as humility. I don't want attention. Let others speak. But deep down, many times it isn't humility. It's protection. It's fear of showing yourself and discovering that someone might disagree. And the truth is, disagreement doesn't kill anyone. What kills you inside is spending years living a life where you only show half of who you are. You get used to shrinking to fit, and without noticing, you start calling that your personality. There's a kind of pain almost no one names, the pain of being capable and still feeling invisible. You look around and realize your heart has more depth than the room's conversation. But even so, you adapt, because being deep takes courage. And that's where a point comes in that changes the game. A lot of people aren't afraid to speak. They're afraid of what will happen after they speak. Afraid of being remembered. Afraid of being labeled. Afraid of no longer being able to go back to the comfortable zone of, no one expects anything from me. Because as long as you don't take a stand, you keep an excuse alive. You keep a door open for, one day I'll show it. But that one day usually turns into years. And years turn into regret. And notice this, when you don't speak, you don't lose only opportunities. You lose identity. You start drifting away from your own truth until you begin to doubt whether what you think has any value. And that's why so many intelligent people feel insecure. Because intelligence without expression becomes weight. It becomes that inner noise with no outlet. And when thought can't find a voice, it becomes anxiety. You don't need to become someone else to be heard. You don't need to perform confidence. What you need is to learn to hold your message with calm, like someone who isn't asking permission to exist. And here's a simple but deep key. Clarity is respect. When you speak with clarity, you respect the other person's time. You don't hide behind detours, you don't shrink, you don't over-justify. You show up as someone who knows what they're saying, even if you're still learning. In fact, there's a huge difference between not being sure and not having value. You can be under construction and still speak with firmness. You can be learning and still be relevant. Your voice doesn't have to wait for perfection to be born. And there's more. When you start taking your stand, your life starts filtering people. Some will step away and that can hurt. But others will come closer with respect because they can finally see you. And that selection is a sign of growth, not loss. But to get there, you'll have to cross an initial discomfort. You'll speak and feel your heart race. You'll feel your throat tighten. You'll feel that urge to pull back. And that is exactly where most people quit. But whoever doesn't retreat in that moment discovers a strength that doesn't show up before. Because courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is not obeying fear. And there's a simple practice that changes everything. Before you speak, don't try to look strong. Try to be present. Breathe. Pause. Look people in the eyes. Organize the idea. And speak like someone who isn't at war, who is in truth. Because when you speak in war, you try to win. When you speak in truth, you try to build. And people feel that difference immediately. They may even disagree with the content, but they respect the state you're in. And here's a point almost no one notices. Your voice isn't only sound, it's energy. It carries what you believe about yourself. If inside you treat yourself like a maybe, your voice comes out weak. If inside you treat yourself like someone who belongs, your voice gains ground. It isn't magic, it's alignment. And if you want a marker to start right now, hold on to this. The next time you feel, I should say something, say it. Even if it's short, even if it's simple. Just don't betray that desire to exist. Because every time you stay quiet out of fear, you train your own absence. And the most beautiful part is that when you start using your voice with presence, you don't only transform your career or your relationships. You transform the way you see yourself. You stop asking for a place. You start taking up space. And from that point on, one thing becomes clear. The world might not understand you right away, but it will immediately notice one thing. You arrived.